Right, welcome back to the Survival Debrief. I'm Stephen Kelly, your host today. As you know about me, I've done 23 years serving in Commando forces and operated all over the world and recently retired. I've also had the opportunity to take on Naked Alone Racing to Get Home, which is a British reality TV show, an reality TV show. And I also took on Naked and Afraid not once but twice. And I'm so happy today. We've got Kyle from Naked and Afraid, and he's jumped on here today, and he had an amazing partner, which we're going to talk about. How are you anyway, Kyle? You're all good, mate?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. This is what I do now in retirement. I've left the military now, so I've got to find ways to fill up my time.
So
To,
now you're going to be a famous podcaster as well, huh?
I think that's what's going to happen, mate. I'm going to just keep interviewing and see where it goes from here. But the reason why I've got this podcast, and if you watched a couple of the episodes before, I like to talk about what goes on behind the scenes of Naked and Afraid. What amazing times you had, you and your partner, you and Miranda. What did they make camera and so on and so forth. But the first question I always ask is, how did this come about, mate? How did you end up naked in the Colombian jungle?
Okay, so I guess we can go back to the very beginning. I didn't discover the show. I mean, like I knew about the show when it first came out, but I didn't actually start to watch and get into the show till about, I think it was like 2018, 2019, somewhere around that area. And I was actually on a work business trip with my wife, and I was in the hotel while she was doing her like workshops or whatnot, and they had a Naked and Afraid marathon going on, and I just started watching. It's like, there's nothing else to do, and then I was just like, I was hooked. It's like this is awesome. This is like what I did in my childhood, only times 100.
Yeah.
Because I grew up fishing, hunting, playing out in the woods, just doing that sort of thing. So like instantly I was hooked. And then from then on, I just like religiously watched all of the seasons, all of the episodes, all the XLs. Um, and I got into the fan groups. And so I started participating in that on Facebook and whatnot. Um, and then how it got around to me being on or actually applying for the show. I wasn't on. I'll get to that in a second. Um, so my wife had an archery Instagram page, and so she had gotten pretty popular with that or whatnot. And they actually Metal Flowers contacted her first, and she was like, you know, you have the look, you do some outdoors archery stuff. Like, would you be interested in this kind of show? And she's like, absolutely not. That's not my thing. I like going camping and stuff, but I don't want to be naked. I don't want to be that uncomfortable. But my husband loves the show. You may want to contact him. And then, like within 15 minutes, one of the casting directors had messaged me on Instagram. I was like, "Hey, we just talked to your wife. She turned us down, but would you be interested in this?" I was like, "Yes, let's go."
That is brilliant,
So
though.
yeah, so this was like I think it was like April of 2021, I believe. And so I got started with that. I did interviews, I did phone calls, I did PSR evaluations, like all the gambit of everything. And I was down to the last bit of, they were like, okay, will you be available for these dates? I was like, yes, just wherever, send me whenever. And then it all went dark. Like, I mean, you've dealt with how production is, and
Yeah,
you can never have anything set in stone until you're on the plane
yeah.
headed somewhere.
You're not on it till
So,
you're on it.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, I'm all excited. I got a date, let's go. And then just everything went dark. And that lasted for 2 years. I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything from anybody for 2 years. And I was like, well, I guess they passed. My opportunity is done. I'll just go back to being a fan. And then lo and behold, 2 years later, David Story sent me a message and was like, hey, I know you did all this stuff before. Are you still interested? I was like, sure, I'm always interested. Let's go. And so it just kind of went from there. I went through all the interviews again, and then I find myself on a plane to Colombia.
Wow. So 2021, you could be a legend status by now if you managed to get through
I
that.
know, right?
Yeah,
They should have started me out earlier. I could already been like 200 days in or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Do you know what's quite funny, Kyle? So here's a story about me, what not many people know. I actually went through the whole process back in 2015. I
Oh,
should have been,
wow.
yeah,
Like toward
2000.
the very beginning.
Yeah, 2015, I went through the whole process, had all my PSR, and then I had to fly out to LA. That's where you used to have to do your interviews. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm serving in the military and I couldn't get the time off to go over there. Then I had all my PSRs, I had to do phone calls with EJ Snarden, and I never
Yep.
heard
Yep.
nothing from them for 9 years. Then I get a
Jeez.
message
So
from
they
David
went dark
Story.
for nine. I thought mine was a long time, but that's
Yeah.
all. Wow.
So I could have been in the same time as with Stephen Leal Jr. when they started. I could have been at their
Yeah.
level, and it took me another 9 years. And then randomly out the blue, I went to the bushcraft show. I was there with Jamie and Sam. Obviously, I trained Sam. I taught Sam loads of stuff. So I was there with Sam. Then I met Jamie, who'd done Naked and Afraid, just chatting away to
Right.
them.
Yeah.
And I was drunk with them all weekend. And I get a message on the Sunday after I finished the bushcraft show from David Story. And the next minute, the same as you, I was out there in Colombia in a crazy, crazy environment.
Yeah. We were on the same season. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Now, where's my next question for you, Carl? That's a good story. That I'm happy I've heard that now. And this is stuff and what the fans probably want to listen to. So it's quite nice hearing that story of you. But when you went on your challenge, all right, and you're going into the jungle and you strip off naked, and this is not a normal thing. It's not normal, right?
No.
It's uncomfortable, isn't it? You strip off naked and you're walking into the jungle. What's going through your head?
Well, it may be more normal for some people, but I'm not the type of person that's just like, hey, let's take off my clothes and
Yeah,
go do something stupid. Um, so I don't know. The first thing, it was all really surreal because, I mean, you watch the show on TV. It's one thing seeing it and like from the couch and, hey,
yeah,
you should have done this or like, why didn't you think of this and blah, blah, blah. And then
yeah.
you're actually out there and all of that just like hits you and say, oh, this is the reason. Like this is totally different. Like I'm
This is
I'm not
real.
prepared for this. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
So that's the first thoughts going through my head is it's just this is real. This is happening. What am I gonna do? Like, am I going to remember all the stuff that I've trained for? Am I gonna remember? And then, you get out there and at least for me, I forget like half of the stuff that I had prepared. Like
yeah.
I'm the type of person that like likes to know the plan ahead of time. I had like a whole notebook that I was taking notes on. Like these are the things you should do, shouldn't do. Here's the type of traps I was gonna do, and I get out there and I just like forget everything.
Mate, I think
So
most
it's
people are like that.
yeah, it's good to have a plan, but then the plan just throw it out the window.
Mate, what was it like meeting your partner though? Obviously, I work with Miranda, and she's an absolutely amazing woman to work with. Got to know her
Yes.
well. But what was it like meeting your partner at first? Obviously, I know her now, so it's going to be quite hard to explain to me. But to the fans, what was it like going out there? You're meeting some girl out in the woods in the jungle, and you're going off to survive. What's going through your head? Were you thinking, has she got the skill set? Because she's only small. She's only a tiny
Yeah.
girl. I
She
thought I
is
was
a tiny
short.
little thing.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
what was
call her
going
I
through
call
your
her
head?
my little gremlin.
Yeah,
That's
she
the
tell she
nickname I
telling me
gave
that.
her.
She was
Yeah.
telling me that on Apocalypse that you call her the little gremlin.
Yeah. For many reasons, but yeah, she's a tiny lady. So yeah, and you know this too, like when you're meeting your partner for the first time, it's just not you two out there and maybe a cameraman. There's like 12 people around you, like watching the whole thing when you're first meeting up. So like I have the pressure of meeting my partner naked for the first time, but then I got like all these production people. I'm like, I'm embarrassed. I'm literally exposed to everything. And so it's just a deer in the headlights type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just stumbled through it as best as I could.
It's funny when I look back to that moment when I met Sonny, and Sonny's a friend for life now. I'm flying back out to America in December to go and
Oh,
stay with
nice.
Sonny's. Me and my wife were flying out there to go. We stayed with it in Canada 2 years ago, and we're flying back out again to stay with it for Christmas in December. I'm looking forward to it. But when I got naked, and you're just there looking straight in the eyes, aren't you? You're eye to eye.
Don't
And
look down. Don't look
yeah,
down. Just look straight
you're
ahead.
there, it's so professional. But what I can say is the production is so professional as well. You don't
Oh,
feel
yeah.
after the day, you're like that. You know what? It is what it is. It's just a body. It's just a human body. We all come in different
Right.
shapes and sizes, and it's what it is.
Yeah, from when I started, 2 years before that, like trying to prepare, I made a lot of friends in the Naked and Afraid community, and I heard that a lot. It's like, it's kind of embarrassing the first day or whatever, but you completely forget about it after that. And I was like, how? You can't just completely forget that you're naked with a stranger out there, but it is.
Yeah.
Like, you get over that initial embarrassment, that initial shock, and then you're like, okay, well, we got to go to work. Like, this is all well and good that we're naked here, but we got to get water, we got to get shelter, we got
Mm.
to get something, a fire going, and all of that goes out the window. You're done being embarrassed.
What's funny is I felt so exposed after when you get used to being naked, but when you take your bag off, wow, or your necklace,
Yes.
like whoa,
Just that
I am
little
bare.
bit, like this little necklace right here, you feel so much more naked without it.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's a weird feeling. But obviously, you and Miranda though, you just go off into the jungle and you are smashing it. You made a big shelter. You were catching food. You were eating bananas. Then you came across frogs. What was this moment? What happened? You just got sick, didn't you?
Yeah, so it was rainy. It was storming like way more than what they showed on the episode. It was like every 2 to 3 days a storm would come through, and I think they maybe only showed it once. But after every time it rained, we would hear these toads like ribbiting everywhere, and it's like, we haven't hardly seen anything else out here. Like maybe we can go and do like a frog gigging hunt or something. And you get a little time ahead of time to prepare, like before you're inserted with a guide, and they kind of briefly go over like you need to stay away from this, these are okay, whatever. And I remember them mentioning the toads and been like, yes, they are okay to eat, but you got to make sure that you clean them really well and clean your hands off. Which you're out there in the jungle, you don't have soap and water, so you try to do the best you can. And we knew this going into it. We knew that okay, these are the toads that are okay to eat. We just got to be careful. Well, inevitably in our excitement, we weren't super careful. We tried to scrub our hands off as best we could, but it got all over, and you can't see it either. It's not like a
Yeah.
visible thing. It's just like a clear coating, and it was fun. The toads were great. I mean that was the only real source of protein that we got out there, and so it just tasted amazing. But then about 30 minutes into it, like I'm feeling some tingling sensation in my mouth, and my fingertips are kind of like feeling weird and numb. But I don't want to say anything just yet, because I'm not sure if like I don't know, like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it progressively starts moving to my tongue is getting numb. I'm like, okay, something's going on. And so I look over at Miranda, and I'm like, hey, are you feeling weird? Like, is your mouth feeling numb or something? And she's like, yeah, it is. What's going on? I was like, I think we didn't clean our hands off really well, and
Poisoned yourselves.
yeah, we poisoned ourselves, and we didn't know to what extent. Like they said, like it's not going to hurt you bad, but we don't know that, and we don't know to what extent we had ingested at that
Yeah.
point. So that's when we were like, okay, we got to call a medic in just in case. So that was an adventure.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was good. It was good watching it, but obviously he's overcome it. He's overcome it, and obviously you completed the challenge. But other things on your challenge, what's a good thing that you actually did as a team but didn't make the cut?
Oh man. Okay, so this is one moment I Miranda and I keep going back to. We were like, there is no way that they couldn't have put this in here. So it was on our insertion hike, and we were going in, and where we ended up camping was kind of down in a valley, but there were mountains on each side, and so we had to kind of go on this really narrow mountain path. It couldn't have been more than a foot wide at some points, and then there's just like a sheer drop off. And so I'm in front of Miranda at this point, and there's kind of like a dip in the path, and so I go across the dip and I'm on the other side, and I kind of look back and I'm there just in case she needs a hand or whatever. And she starts going across, or like stepping down into the ravine, and her foot slips, and it slips toward the side that's the drop off. And I just instinctively like reached out and grabbed her I'm just grabbing for her, and I grabbed her forearm and just hung on and pulled her back up. Like otherwise, she was going off the mountain.
Wow.
And our camera guy Rob was right behind me. He's like, "I got all of that." Like that is amazing that you just grabbed her and pulled her back up there. That's definitely going to make the cut, and it absolutely did not.
Nah. It's quite sad, isn't it? Because you do so much good stuff out there. We had Sonny was eating spiders. They were
Yeah,
absolutely disgusting. And I was like that. I went and caught loads of crickets and I thought they would have showed that the way. I let Sonny eat them first, cooked them up. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, go on." Then she ate them and I went, imagine if they're poisonous. And she proper freaked out, started eating charcoal and all that. And there's me laughing, eating crickets.
think about that afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. But I had Rob as well as the cameraman. He's a great guy. He
Oh
he lives
man.
around the corner. He lives about 4 miles from where I live right now.
Oh well, tell him hi next time you see him.
Yeah, he lives in Plymouth. Obviously, I know I think he's away doing stuff on challenges right now. But yeah, he lives around the corner from me. On your challenge as well, Kyle. And obviously, I was out there. Colombia is no joke. It's a harsh, harsh environment, and I've
Yeah,
operated in a lot of jungles throughout my military career. But being stripped off naked in a Colombian jungle, which is in the Amazon. It's in the Amazon basin. All right.
yeah.
It's a tough, tough environment. What was the hardest part for you out there?
Ah, the moisture was. I mean, it was suffocating at times, and we had again we were down in this valley, and there was so much canopy coverage that it was almost like a sauna. It just trapped all of that heat and that moisture inside where we were, and so getting the fire going was so much harder than what they showed on there. I mean, it was hours and hours and hours worth of trying and stopping, getting frustrated, doing some other things, coming back to it until we didn't get it done the first day. Um, it was just like a desperate attempt that first night, we're sleeping in the dark that we finally got something going. I don't know if like at nighttime the moisture content was slightly or the humidity was slightly
Yeah,
lower, but whatever it was, it worked to our advantage. But yeah, the moisture, everything's wet,
yeah,
everything's just sticky all the time. And then with that comes like some chafing and stuff in different
yeah,
private areas because
yeah.
everything's wet all the time. So that's not fun. I guess some other challenges too, and you really got it on yours. I felt so bad was the bugs.
Yeah, that's what was tough for me.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, lighting fires was tough as well. It was full of moisture, the air, and the fire wouldn't last 2 minutes. But what was hard for me was the insect bites, and I'd literally try and block it out my own head. And the producer would be asking me, "You all right?" And I'd be like, "If a lady called Cody, I think you had Cody as well, Cody and
oh
Rob,
yeah, Cody. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the Cody and Eric Straight." So they're asking me, "You all right?"
We had the same crew, it sounds
Yeah, we
like.
had the same crew, yeah. And Eric and Cody are asking me, "Am I okay?" I'm like, "I'm sound, I'm good." In me head, I was crying. I was
Yeah,
crying my eyes out, but I didn't want to show none of it. I'm like, right, I've operated in the jungles, I've got the experience, I've got the mindset to deal with this. But it was tough, and at one point, Sonny stuck a thumb in my foot because my feet swelled up dead fat, and
yeah.
the indentation stayed in there, stayed in my foot, and they
Oh,
were worried.
jeez.
They were worried about me, and I told, they were saying if it gets any worse, we might have to medically tap you. I'm like, no medics coming to me, I'm good. And I built a bench, but it didn't show yet, and I had my feet up on this bench every day, and I was massaging all the fluid out my body. And I
Yeah.
get
Oh,
eaten
that's a
alive
good
all
idea.
day
Yeah.
again. My body will swell up again. I'd do the whole process. And I had Sonny helping me all day, every day. But them insect bites were horrendous for me. They just loved me
Yeah.
skin.
So luckily, you were more of like a swampy, like there was a lake there
Yeah,
or a
yeah, yeah.
pond or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had more mosquitoes.
Yeah.
We were lucky, and I know they did this on purpose because Miranda is a fishing captain, and they put us in a place that like had puddles. We didn't have any like fishing opportunity around. But with that, it kind of worked to our advantage because the mosquito population was a little bit lower.
Yeah.
What we really dealt with was the ants. There were ants everywhere, and it was
Yeah.
all the different types. I got tagged by a bullet ant one time, and I don't know about you. Did you get hit by one?
Yeah, first night, I thought I got shot in the
Yeah,
back. I was like, I
yeah.
built a bench for Sonny. Sonny lied on the bed on the night, and I lied on the floor. And night one, I got bit in the back, and I was in a bad way.
I know. You don't really know what it feels like until you actually get hit by them. They live up to their name.
Yeah,
That and the leafcutter ants were vicious. Like they'll just chew through your toes.
yeah.
Like, um, and at one point, uh, it was after one of the rains, and I guess it kind of pushed the ants away from their normal highway or whatever. But we were laying on our little swamp beds that we made, and we look over, and there's just this black line of ants going through our camp. I was like, where did all this come from? And I mean, it was like a black snake was slithering through there.
Yeah.
They were so thick. I mean, it was nuts. I've never seen so many insects.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy about the jungle. There's so much life out there. It's such a good ecosystem, and that's what I noticed when I was in Colombia. There was the bugs, the snakes, the scorpions. It was just absolutely non-stop. But it was a really, really good challenge, and I really enjoyed that. And obviously, you've done really well. You and Miranda move on from all that. You get to the end. You're getting in the back of your truck. What's going through your head?
Um, it was a sense of accomplishment that I had never felt before. Like I've done a lot of cool things in my life, and you know, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I've always been like a high achiever because I set
Yeah.
really high standards for myself. But finishing that challenge was something that I can't compare it to anything else,
Mm.
like as far as accomplishments go. Um, it was just I deal a lot too, even though like I push myself really hard on things and I do well for the most part. I don't have a lot of self-confidence in those things. Like I question myself constantly.
Yeah.
Second guess things that I do, and I'm always uh, kind of at that precipice of like, you're not good enough. But when I finished that, when I got in the back of that Jeep and we were riding off, like all of that disappeared for a while. It still creeps back in every now and then, like when you get back to the real world and, jobs and finances and whatever else is going
Yeah.
on. It gets back to you, but I kind of go back and use that as my therapy in a
Yeah.
way and be like, that's my happy place. I did that. Like if I can do that kind of stuff, like any of the rest of this in the normal world is it's easy.
Well, saying that, Kyle, you are good enough, and you were an absolute pleasure to watch. You and Miranda had a good bond. You see a lot of people don't get on these challenges, and it was refreshing to see what you and Miranda were like. Because me and Sonny were great partners as well, and I've made a friend for life. And I've heard
Oh
a
yeah.
lot about you when I was out there with Miranda, how much of a great person you are. And so it was good seeing you get over that finish line together as a team. And honestly, kudos to you. So you are good enough. Yeah, I can see a bit of self-doubt there, but you are good enough, mate. And hopefully one day I'd love to get out on a challenge with you. But moving on to the
Oh
next
yeah.
question. If you got offered another challenge, Kyle, would you take it?
We can leave today. Absolutely. I've been like saying that well, even before I left Columbia, I was like, let's go again. Keep me out here. I'll just turn it into an XL. I'll go 40 days. It doesn't matter. I definitely want to go back. And so any production, David Story, whoever,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go back.
And I'll tell you what, Carl, I'd love to see you back out there. You've got a good persona, you've got a good skill set. You're empathetic, you look after your team members, so you do have a lot going for you, mate, and it's good talking to you as well. If you could pick somewhere to go, what type of environment would you like to go in?
Oh, somewhere to go. Like now that I've been to the jungle, I'm pretty partial to it.
Yeah,
Um, it's a tough environment, but I really enjoy just all of the sights, the sounds, everything about it. But to challenge myself, it would have to be somewhere that it gets colder.
yeah,
I don't like cold. I don't deal with cold super well, but that would be an extreme challenge for myself.
yeah,
So somewhere that gets a bit more cold than where we were. Um, Africa is always cool because I mean, you watch National Geographic, Discovery Channel, all these things, and you see these wild animals all the
yeah.
time. And you're like, that's cool. But when you see it in person, I mean, now for sure, like
Oh,
when you
scary.
got lions stalking you and
Yeah.
elephants. threatening to run through your camp. That's thrilling and also terrifying at the same time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely scary. Absolutely scary. But Africa
yeah,
is a good environment. What I found when I compared the two environments, and I've been quite fortunate, the fact I've been in all these environments with my military career, so I haven't wear in these environments blind. Now, a jungle, I believe a jungle is a harder environment to survive in than any other environment. Only reason being is bugs and humidity. If you're not good with fire
yeah,
and you can't mentally sort your head out with bugs, you're going to struggle. Whereas Africa, don't get me wrong, Africa was desolate, it was dry, it was freezing at night, there was barely anything to eat. I've been starving all my life in the military, so I didn't really mind it, and I didn't really mind that challenge. I know some people struggled when we were out there, and I could have stayed there for 100 days, and
yeah.
I felt like I finished too soon. And when we were jumping out, I see people were like struggling and pushing through. I'm like this. I'm ready instead of just walking at it. I'm ready to stay here. Just leave me. So it was totally
Just
different.
an extended vacation,
Yeah, I had no bills to pay. I'm just lighting fires. I'm eating dung beetles with Wes Harper. I had an amazing time out there. Don't get me wrong, it was still tough. It was hard to walk, and I ain't got good feet. I don't train my feet good enough. I wear boots all the time. I'm out hiking, so I
Yeah.
didn't train my feet good enough for it. So I was in a bad way from day one. So, but as soon as I made myself shoes, nothing was stopping me. But the environments are totally different. But if I could pick, I'd definitely go to Africa over the jungle. But I feel like a jungle is more of a challenge. And obviously, you're a fan of the show. If you watch all the episodes, a lot more people drop out of jungles than what they do in
Oh
Africa.
yeah, for sure. Not only like the bugs and stuff, but in my opinion, there's a lot more pathogens and things that can
Yeah,
make you sick in a
yeah,
jungle. So it is definitely a tough environment. Um, oh, you were asking like a place to go. Thailand. Thailand has been on my list for a long time.
yeah.
Like when they've done the episodes in Thailand, like it's beautiful, and I would love to visit that. So that's on my wish list.
Right, so if any production are watching this, Kyle is ready to be dropped off in Thailand. Go and look
Drop me in
after
the
him,
Thai jungle.
Steve. Go and look after him, man. Uh, here's one more question. This is normally my last question now. Here's my last question. If you had
Okay.
someone now who wants to get into the great outdoors, what three top tips would you give someone new who's never done none of this before and they want to go into the great outdoors?
Just start. Go outside. That's the first step is go outside, go what is the phrase? Go touch grass. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's I'm even using that in the right context, but yeah, just go outside, go find a park. It doesn't have to be like the wild environment. Like just start doing something. Go to a local park and walk around and just like look at the things that are around you because there's wildlife even in a city area. Squirrels up in the tree, there's birds, there's, bugs, and just start trying to figure out what they are. What is that tree over there? Does it have things that I can use, like to eat or to make or whatever? And start there. YouTube is fantastic. I know it's bringing in some modern technologies to the whole survival game, but it is a valuable tool. Um, if you don't know it, somebody out there will, and they probably made a video about it. And so start there. If you're a novice, YouTube is a great resource. Um, I guess other than that, just start talking to people.
Mm,
Talk to people that are in that environment. Talk to wildlife rangers at your local park or national forest or whatever, and just gain knowledge. Be open and be available to be teachable. Oh, I guess that's a good one. Be teachable
yeah, be
because
teachable, yeah.
if you are too hard headed, and you see this a lot with partners that don't want to give in when they're on the challenge, they know everything.
Yeah,
You don't. No matter if you're an expert or been in the military for however long, what you don't know everything. You're
yeah.
always teachable. So
100%. Do you know what? They're really good points, them. I learned so much out there. I was only with Miranda for 6 days. I'm not a fisherman. I'm not a hunter. And I'm not a fisherman. I don't do that in the UK. I learned so much about fishing when I was out there, how to do all my lines and my hooks. I learned how to scorpion hunt with Wes Harper. I learned how to use a bow and arrow using Wes's. Do you know what I mean? I don't do none of this
yeah,
stuff. And like you said there, you got to be willing to learn. And I'm always a student at my craft. I've learned so much off Frank when I was out there. I learned so much off Joe. I learned so much off Teal. I could name them all. I learned something off every single one. I was like, wow, I learned how to strip catfish so well from Stephen when I was out there, what I didn't show. And you can learn off everyone. And that's what I like to do. Honestly, Kyle, I love to absorb knowledge and hopefully
Right.
impart a bit of knowledge to someone as well. Hopefully, I've got a skill where I can teach you, and hopefully, you can teach me a skill and be
Yeah.
a teamwork.
It's the old adage, like knowledge is power. The
Yeah.
more knowledge you gain, the better off you're gonna be.
100%, mate. But that's been absolutely spot on having you on here now. I know I said that was the last question, but this is a promotion for you. If the fans
Oh,
want to
let's keep
see you,
going. It didn't feel like it's been like that
I know
long.
30 odd minutes already, but I've got a countdown now of 7 minutes. It counts down
Oh,
for me because
okay.
I don't pay for the upgrade. But if fans are watching here now and they want to follow you on your journey, see what you do on social media, where can people follow you?
So I'm most active on Instagram. In what is my handle? Kyle underscore of underscore the underscore wild underscore NAA. I know that's a lot. Kyle of the Wild NAA. So I'm there, and then most of my other platforms, I just recently started TikTok back. Um, Everything is pretty much the same handle. I'm on Facebook. I'm fairly active in the fan groups. Um, yeah, so Kyle of the Wild NAA, and on most platforms.
Oh, spot on. Right, people, make sure you go and give Kyle a follow. He's a good guy. And if you like this podcast, get on YouTube, tag all the production in it, and say we want to see Kyle back out there. Have you got any
Kyle and
final
Steve.
words? Do you have any
What's
final
that?
words? Do you have any final words, Kyle?
Um, I really appreciate you. I've never done a podcast
Yeah.
before, so this is a first for me. I really appreciate you even reaching out to me. I do hope that we can meet up together in the future, naked or not. I mean, it's no preference.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed myself. It was good talking to you.
Oh, honestly, Kyle, it's been absolutely spot on having you on here. Like I said, people, make sure you go and check out Kyle. He's a good guy. Tag all production in this. And like I always say, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to this podcast and go and share it with 10 friends. Everyone, peace out. Love you all.
Later.